We are honored and grateful that you would invite us here into your ears on the Godfather Minute. Hey, this is that show where we talk about the Godfather 1 minute at a time, right?
Every minute we're doing. In order. Are we doing it in order or are we jumping around at all?
So far, we've been doing it in order.
Okay.
I don't know, who knows? We could throw over a curveball, do a sort of Godfather 2 thing where we go, out of sequential order.
No, I meant completely blow it up and just do the whole Godfather 2 backwards.
Whoa, mementos. That's called mementoing it.
Oh, is it? Are there other groups that do that?
Sure.
Oh,
no,
boy.
I don't know. I've never heard of it. People have talked about doing a memento minute, but doing it like releasing the last episode first and then,
cool.
and then going, you know what I mean?
And then starting over or doing the whole thing backwards?
No, you would have to record the whole thing tip to tail. And then you release them in backwards order. So
backwards, will have speak we?
Hey, my name is Alex Robinson.
And I'm Andrew Robinson.
And we're here on the Godfather Minute. And we're talking about minute 14.
14. Alex, Alessandro.
Sì.
E minuto numero 14.
E minuto
numero.
E minuto numero
14.
14.
Say with me. 14.
14.
Bene.
Dinara. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to do that joke every time we do that. Every time we do that joke. So minute 14 starts off with the Vito Corleone, the titular Godfather himself, looking through blinds like a spy in a music video from the 80s.
It's kind of creepy.
And it lasts, it's like 15 seconds of, not just of him, he cuts back and forth to Michael, but you really, a quarter of this minute is spent literally of just him watching Michael walk around the party.
Creepy.
And I guess it also maybe lets you know how important Michael is to the story, because you're like, oh, now the Don's like looking at this guy, so he must be somebody.
Everyone else, he's sort of, all these people who have visited him and asked him requests. Yeah. He kind of just, he talks to them, but he dismisses them. Now he's really focused on someone. Yeah. Someone he cares about.
Yeah.
It's still a little creepy, though.
Oh, it definitely is a little creepy.
What would you do if you were a guest at that wedding, you looked over, and the Don was looking at you, and you knew it was you he was looking at? His gaze was fixed on you through those creepy blinds.
I would probably do something that I thought would, like, make him laugh.
Like what?
Like... And that would also let him know, like, I can't think of anything, but like almost like do like some kind of joke that I would let him know that I knew he was watching because I was doing some dumb joke for him.
Funny.
You know what I mean? Like, somehow convey that information.
Would you do the international symbol for a cut throat?
Oh yeah,
like, totally.
I'd point to one of the other guys and I'd be like, he's betraying you. And you can see I'm pointing with my finger towards the guy. So yeah, that's what I would do.
And so he's looking through the blinds as Mike and Kay enter the wedding scene. And he sees Mike and Kay dancing. Right? Maybe
this is the first time we really see the couple.
That's true, yeah.
That will see us through the rest of the trilogy.
Will they?
Oh, that's true.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see.
So, Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
Do you...
Do I approve of her as the actress for Kay Adams?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking me?
Yes. Now, this is before... This is before she was famous. Well, I don't know. This was just around Woody Allen. I should look this up. I should look this up before I start.
It's got to be afterward. Weren't those Woody Allen movies like very late 60s?
Yeah, but Woody Allen's the Diane Keaton part was in like
it was a little later. That's right.
You know what? So anyway, what are your thoughts about Diane Keaton as the actress?
You know, I hate to be a Kay Adams downer, but I still feel
like... Hate to be naive.
Hate to be naive, Kay, but I feel like her look just does not fit the role. And I don't know whether it's because it's Diane Keaton or whether it's because you've got this white woman from New England who's hanging around with all these Sicilians.
Yeah.
So she's going to be out of place, and she's supposed to be out of place. Puzo deliberately wrote in a character from outside of the culture.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm just stuck thinking of her and Woody Allen. I keep thinking that when she's dancing and she turns around, you're supposed to see Michael there. You're going to see Woody there. Going, I never learned to dance. Man, I've got 2 left feet.
Albie Singer.
Or he's dressed as the dictator.
So I looked it up, and this was around the same time that she was in like Play It Again, Sam, and Sleeper around this time. So
and you said in an earlier episode that Play It Again, Sam was the one movie that interrupted The Godfather in number 1, right? In the top box office. I think you said.
Oh
that.
My gosh! This was Diane Keaton's year.
Definitely
back-to-back number 1 movies at the box office.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. What do you think about her as the actress in that role?
It's hard to tell because I think Kay in general is very like underwritten. Mm-hmm. Like she doesn't, other than reacting to Michael, like there's, I don't know any. She was a teacher briefly.
Yeah.
Other than that, we don't know anything about her. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to really get, she's more just like a prop as a mirror on Michael than a character in her own right. But.
What do you call that in storytelling? Is it a mirror? Someone who is there so that another character can talk to her and fill in gaps of understanding? Is there a name for that?
Yeah, it's funny. There is a character like that. That's
not a dummy card
thing, but
yeah, she seems to fulfill that role.
Yeah,
because as we'll see in the next couple minutes, Michael reveals a lot about his family.
Yeah. Well, and I think also she's kind of like barometer of his status, like, his kind of rise. They first start going out and then they get married. And still, spoiler alert, if you have not seen the movie by this point,
I haven't seen it yet, so don't.
Oh, you're watching it 1 minute at a time.
Oh
boy, really ruining a lot of stuff here. But basically, like when their relationship is good, then his things are going well for him, but then in the second half, when his things start falling apart, then
that's when she goes bananas.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. Yeah, bananas.
This Sicilian thing, Michael.
So Diane Keaton, I feel like it could have been almost anyone.
Yeah. I asked myself who would have done a better job. I mean, her acting is strong. Yeah. I think. Just her look, maybe.
I have to look up some other. I'm sure there were other actresses that were considered for the role. I'll have to research that for a future show.
Yeah, there is a little bit more in the book about Kay, but not at this point. I don't think. Later on, when there's more Kay action, Puzo writes a little bit more about her.
I learned today, and I know this is shameful to admit because I'm co-hosting a Godfather podcast, that Mario Puzo wrote other novels that were the sequels to The Godfather.
Interesting.
There was one called The Sicilian. That was basically... And then there was one called The Godfather Returns.
Oh, boy.
That was Mario Puzo with someone else. I think this guy's name was like Mike Weingarten or something. And then there was The Godfather's Revenge by Mario Puzo with this other guys. And it keeps following.
It keeps going.
Yeah.
Does it go... How does it... compare to Godfather 2 because Godfather 2 was just a screenplay, I believe. It was not a book.
I think one of them, I think it might be The Sicilian, takes place during Godfather 1.
Oh.
And all the other characters are in it, but the main storyline is not really a part of the plot of that book. So you're kind of making, I guess, like... we'd see Frankie Five Angels and all the other characters.
I wonder if a lot of unanswered questions would be answered.
Yeah. Maybe so anyway, I'm definitely going to be reading these books. So as reference for the show.
Oh, that's great. Bring it on. That's fun.
And they made a movie of The Sicilian.
Oh, they did.
But they couldn't they couldn't use the Godfather characters because those were owned by Paramount. Oh. Paramount's like, we didn't make this movie. So
did they at least license the font to write the Sicilian?
I wouldn't be surprised.
They probably couldn't afford that if they can't afford to use the names.
So they wrote out all the Corleone parts of the story. So it's basically like its own movie where you don't really see.
How did they reference the other characters then? The mainstream Godfather characters? Did they not?
Well, they were almost kind of like...
Did they just say like, oh, the big crime boss on Long Island? Or,
yeah. Well, I'm sure for the movie they changed the names and just, and made them into some other generic thing that's not Godfather specific.
Hey, did you hear? They shot Bunny on the causeway.
You shot Bunny on the
they can't even use
sidewalk.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to check those out. And
there's one character in the Sicilian who says... who gets in a fight with his wife, and he says, "Now vacuum it up." It's all just a little off, a knockoff.
Yeah. Well, no, in that one, Sonny is the daughter of
the same characters, but they play different roles.
Yeah, totally.
James Caan is wearing a wig. He's playing Connie. That would be a bizarro Godfather.
Yeah,
movie.
Or some kind of. Well, that's what they're doing now. They do all these gender swap movies, where
what do you
they
mean?
redo the Godfather, but have it be the Godmother, and it's all female roles, and you just have,
Awesome.
So that's the trend nowadays. So
that's great.
And so there is some question about the canonicity of some of those novels, like that they're not considered part of the Godfather universe. And I'm so excited because that's such a Star Warsy argument. People are always arguing about whether something counts or is real or not.
Yeah.
And so
because aren't there dozens of Star Wars books, and they're all they all crossover in some ways, but they're all approved, right?
Well,
or they're knockoffs.
Anyway,
we don't want to get into
no. Well, I'll just give you the shorthand version of it. All throughout the Star Wars lifespan, there was basically
that was my knockoff Star Wars.
Oh, I see,
that was my knockoff
the Bizarro
Alderaan, Luke's planet.
Tatooine
music.
Oh, okay.
The sun's rising as you're giving a summary. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No. So there was Lucasfilm licensed a bunch of books, and they basically started coming up with a whole story about what happens after Star Wars, things that happened 1,000 years before Star Wars, this whole expanded universe it was called. And then when Disney bought Star Wars, they're like, oh, this is so cool. And by the way, that expanded universe stuff, none of that stuff counts. Like,
what?
We're basically starting from scratch.
Whoa, they just erased
thousands
of years of history.
That's what fans of that part of the story are like we've been following these stories for like 20 years. And
so is Disney now writing their scripts that contradict some things? Have they already done that?
They already have.
They've already done things that really don't make sense if you take in a...
Well, yeah, because a lot of it had to do with after Star Wars, and as we saw from the events in The Force Awakens, the characters were radically changed, and so they don't work with that. Anyway, so it's a very sore sticking point among Star Wars nerds.
So Paramount did not approve the Sicilian and any of the other spinoffs?
When I start reading the books, I'll get more information about them, and then Godfather, the Sicilian, the Godfather Returns, and the Godfather's Revenge.
Awesome. I just thought of an interesting idea. I was going to ask you if you wanted to do a Sicilian.
About the Godfather too.
I was just going to ask you if you wanted to do the Sicilian Minute, but it hasn't been made into a movie.
But they had to get rid of all the Corleone references.
So it was a movie.
Oh, like a TV movie.
A TV movie, okay. Yeah. But if it wasn't a movie, would you ever do a minute podcast of a book? Is that even done?
The idea of minute podcasts being adapted to other media, like books or TV shows or things like that, paintings. I guess you do like an inch at a time. No, I don't know. Gosh. I was just trying to think of other things that could be divided.
In this episode, we're doing inch 5C.
Yeah, so it's always a matter of coming up with how can you parse out something into a easily digestible. I think a page could work, but if it's a long book, then you need a heck of a lot of episodes.
War and Peace, it did like 25 years.
Or like even like someone did Harry Potter, but there's like 20 of those books.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk about The Godfather minute 14.
Back to The
second.
Godfather.
So Kay, it's the first time we see Kay and Michael together. Michael wearing a army uniform or marine uniform. Excuse me. Sorry, I don't want to insult our fine people in uniform.
And I don't think there's been any mention of Michael having served in the armed services. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't
in
think
the movie.
No, I mean, other than where's Michael,
and we don't even know he's Michael yet.
Well,
because they didn't take the picture earlier because Michael wasn't there, so they couldn't make the film.
I think when he's walking through the crowd, people go Michael, and saying,
"Oh, right."
Michael
Corleone from the Marines.
Exactly. You just got back from a stint in the Marines, but despite your father's wishes.
What do you call that kind of character?
Oh, that's just pure exposition. I love exposition.
Neat.
I love awkwardly wedged in exposition. Anyway, so yes, this is the Don Corleone's missing son. The prodigal son returns. Yep. And so
if I remember right, the next...
I think we'll see more from this guy. I think he's going to be a big part of the...
Who, Michael?
Yeah.
Well, in the Sicilian, but I think this is his last scene in The Godfather.
Oh, you think so?
I'm guessing. I haven't seen it before, but I mean, he's just...
It is the last time we see military Michael.
That's true, yeah. So, but come on, if you didn't have the guts to show up for the family picture, is he really going to last in this movie?
Yeah, that's
totally
true.
Disrespected the Don, so he's not going to last.
It really is a great example cinematically and story-wise of sort of conveying the importance of a character, because we're 14 minutes into the movie already, and everyone's been asking, "Oh, where's Michael?" You know, the Godfather himself is like, "Oh, where's Michael?" And he's not around, and then when he shows up, everyone's like, "Oh, Michael," and seeing him, and he's dressed completely different, so he really stands out, like a way of like kind of branding him as a character. Like everyone's been waiting for him, and he's different than everyone. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Keep an eye on this one.
And we've seen the movie so many times. I don't recall the first time I saw it and seeing Michael, and I don't remember what impact seeing him in a military uniform had on me. But that probably would have been a surprise, considering he's the son of this crime boss. You would think that he's just dressed like everybody else.
Yeah, I guess it would have more impact on the Godfather saga, the one that edited together chronologically, because then you would see Michael as a kid, and you'd follow the whole story of but I don't know. That's interesting. I could also see the Don being like, "Oh, that's good, because it means you're an American."
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You're fighting for your country, but
it's,
it doesn't. But I guess the thing is, he had plans for him. He didn't want to get killed or anything.
Yeah. So
he
had plans for his future. He had plans for his future. Mikey.
We'll talk about Al Pacino. Well, he'll have a lot of time with Al Pacino. So yeah.
So it does cut back into the office, and there's another little micro scene here.
Oh, right. Yeah. Micro scene.
A micro scene.
No, the micro's in the other minute. Kay and Michael.
So then Tom Hagen asks the Don, or he tells him, he says, "Hey, Luca Brasi is here. He's not on the list, but wants to see you." And there's a little bit of a pause. You don't know how the Don's going to react.
Yeah.
And the Don says, "Is this necessary?" What did you think about that?
I made a note that was a noteworthy line too. That line, "Is this necessary?" Because, what does Luca Brasi like? Why is he important enough where the Don is like, do I have to do this? It's not just like, "Oh, send him in." Immediately, and he's also not like, "Oh no, Luca Brasi's just some low level guy. Michael's here. I got to go talk to him," or whatever.
Yeah.
He does stay and wait for Luca Brasi.
He does,
and he does. What does Tom Hagen say? That I guess he does. He didn't think he was going to be invited and all that stuff.
Yeah, and there is a little bit more in the book about this too. Yeah. They talk a little bit about it. Mario Puzo wrote that The Godfather was not happy that Luca Brasi was there. He says because
Why would you not want a charming fellow like Luca Brasi at your daughter's wedding day?
He's the life of every party. I mean, he does keg stands
and the death of every party.
Don Corleone recognizes that he can't be seen publicly with Luca Brasi.
Yeah.
But yet he invited him to the wedding.
Maybe he didn't think who would want to get on the lead and think. He thought Luca would know not to.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but Higgins says that he didn't expect.
Or did
to
Don not know?
Invited.
Did he not know he was invited?
Maybe the wedding planner got it mixed up. He was on a list of people not to invite.
Exactly. Like that's why
all the other crime bosses.
Yeah, that's
were
why.
there.
Not to tell you, is it Tartaglia? No, who's the crime boss we see? Is it Tartaglia or Barzini? It's Barzini.
It's Barzini,
yeah,
and I think you see Cuneo at the
Talia's
table too.
Yeah. That's why they were there too.
All these people that are there. Oh, all these people that are asking favors. They weren't supposed to be invited.
Nazarene, my old friend, I see you came to my wedding. Thank you. Despite not being on the list of people.
He purposely didn't invite them because he knew that they would be asking all these favors.
Oh, that guy whose daughter just got beat up. Don't invite him. I don't want him. Tell him it's canceled.
Yeah, so he wrote that Luca didn't expect to be invited to the wedding, so he wanted to thank Don Corleone. Mm-hmm. Alex, I have a question for you. Were you ever invited to something, an event, and you hadn't expected to be invited? And then how did you show your appreciation for that?
Well, see, that's the problem. You're making it sound like I would want to be invited.
I know, that's what's different. Luca wants to go to the wedding.
More usually my unexpected invitation is usually like,
oh man, really?
Can we just send him a gift? That's usually the way I accept invitations. So, but I feel like if I did go, if I had to go, I would definitely ask him for a favor.
Oh, why you're...
I mean, if I'm going to go to a Sicilian's daughter, the daughter of a Sicilian's wedding day and not ask, I mean, like, how many chances are you going to get?
I feel like we've talked about this already. Like, what would you ask for?
All right. Okay. I wasn't, anyway, yeah, you're right. We're probably, we only do the show once a week. You know, that was like 30 weeks ago. We talked about stuff. Anyway.
I don't think I was invited to something that I didn't expect to be. Maybe. Yeah. I think it's like you. It's always more... like, oh, whoa, well, great, I wasn't invited. And then I was. I'm like, oh, really?
Yeah.
I got things to do. I got podcasts to do. We got a weekly podcast. And then you try to find a way out of it. But you can't find your way out of it. Maybe Luca Brasi didn't want to get invited, but he was. And so now
then he felt like he had to go thank him personally because he was like,
oh, no. He actually didn't want to go.
Now I got to go thank him personally.
I can't do the Luca Brasi voice.
Well, it sounds too much
Don Corleone.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
Well, it's because I just listened to it a bunch. But check this out. I noticed
Don
really...
Corleone.
Don Corleone. I am greatly... So, before I go on with that, there's a great, very subtle audio piece.
Oh, yeah?
A micro scenelet.
Oh, wow.
So... after the Don says, like, send him in, or however that part ends, cuts back to Kay and Michael.
Yeah.
And Kay says, oh, do you hear... or right when they cut back, you could see Luca Brasi in the background.
Yeah.
And you can hear him still practicing as Michael and Kay have some dialogue. And if you listen closely, the first couple words you hear on that one shot is him. This is what he goes. He goes, Don Corleone. He just says Don twice with a little pause in between, as if he wasn't satisfied with the way he said the word Don first.
Oh my God, that's
it's
so
hilarious.
awesome.
Don Corleone. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, now we're gonna
go back and watch it.
Okay,
it's really funny. It's so stupid. It's great. And that's when Kay says, see that scary guy over there?
Yeah, yeah.
And he says, he's a very scary guy.
Yeah. Well, who is he?
They don't go into it. That's next minute.
Well, say who the minute ends with her saying, who is he? What's his name?
It's a cliffhanger. Dun, dun, dun.
Who is the mysterious stranger mumbling to himself? Will the Don ever get to go to his daughter's party?
Who's that guy wearing the Marines outfit at this wedding?
What's the deal with Italian weddings?
Why won't Sonny comb his hair? They always throw in some oddball ones, side stories.
All right. So, anything else for this particular minute?
Yes. This sort of applies to the next minute, but I want to read it. So, in the book, Alex, the book is a little bit different than the movie.
Oh, you can play the music now?
I'm going to play the music right now.
The book is different than the movie. The book is different than the movie. The book is different. The book is different. The book is different than the movie. Yeah.
So on page 24 in the book, Puzo writes, in the garden, Kay Adams was struck by the violent fury imprinted on the face of Luca Brasi. She asked about him. Michael had brought Kay to the wedding so that she would slowly and perhaps without too much of a shock absorb the truth about his father. So he's starting to ease her into the awareness of how this whole thing works.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he ends by just saying, in a real matter-of-fact voice, he's a very scary guy.
Well, that's an interesting. I never really thought about that before.
No, me neither.
Is Michael like nervous?
I think so.
Or because he doesn't.
He's
seem
not as
very
nervous as Luca Brasi preparing his speech.
Yeah, that'd be funny if he was like, Kay, he's a very scary guy.
Kay Adams.
Yeah. So is he, or is he? Does he know that this is? Does he know that they're going to be a welcoming family? You think he is nervous?
Well, my impression,
Because she won't like them, or because they won't like her also? Although it sounds like... anyway, go ahead.
I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of what, before reading that, what my original thought was on this.
Yeah.
And the way Michael is talking, it seems that he's bringing this girl here, and he's not really nervous. He's not nervous. He's not nervous. He's just bringing her to his sister's wedding.
Yeah.
But this part of the book really shows that it's he's thinking more about it, and he is
Like
nervous.
it's not like prior to this he's ever hinted that his father is a crime boss or anything.
Well, I think the next line is, but so far, I didn't want to get too deep into it, but so far, she seemed to regard the Don as a slightly unethical businessman. Yeah. Yeah, so I think even before this, he was starting to share.
Have you ever been in a relationship where the parent of the person you were dating, that you were like, whoa, that's going to be a reason I'm not going to do this? Has a parent ever been a factor?
Oh, wow. Oh, and good question. I thought you were saying that I didn't reveal something about myself because I thought that the parents wouldn't approve. That's a whole other thing.
You present a whole entirely different
That's a whole nother
persona.
podcast, Alex. That's a whole nother one. Oh, good question. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, you dated like a minister's daughter at some point, didn't you?
No, it was a minister. Well, the stepfather was a minister.
Okay.
And girl I dated in high school, her father almost became a priest.
Oh,
Irish
okay.
Catholic family.
Okay.
But
Wow.
they didn't go full.
Yeah. So that,
he didn't go full priesthood.
That
so
wasn't
I
a
didn't feel
factor.
any
Anyway,
obligation. No, it wasn't.
So why did you guys break up then? No, I'm just
God.
wondering if there was ever a situation like Kay where you were like, oh boy, I'm getting in over my head.
I don't think
I guess
so.
most people don't have scenarios like that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's different in modern times too, and I think we're from a more generic white bread culture, and so that's not as important. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, we could go out. We could anyway. Yeah, we could start dating someone. Well, we're not. We're both married fellows.
Yeah,
and but like if someone was, I guess crime is really the only thing. Or if you were like, I think the father was like a cop and he was a real, stickler and
that's true.
or hyper conservative. I guess that's more like politics than job. So anyway,
interesting. Yeah,
but Michael doesn't strike me as being especially nervous in this.
I think that's what makes him, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but that's what makes him a good candidate for having a significant role of responsibility in the family business, because he is so steady-handed.
So long term, though, would it be a stronger journey for him if he did start off like wimpy and nervous? Because then when he becomes the Godfather at the end, it really is like he becomes like a totally, he's conquered his.
Or are you asking if it would be a better story because he's truly transformed rather than just being the same personality?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he changes a little bit, but I mean, he changes a lot, but that's one degree. Like he always seemed to have confidence in his, in his decisions or whatever. But
definitely. And joining the armed services, we're going to see that was the decision that.
Yeah, so I guess he always was very
courageous
confident.
one. Yeah.
So
I'm wondering if it would have been a better movie story if Fredo had gone on to become the Godfather because he had more of a transformation. He was starting from much further back than Michael.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, totally. Yeah,
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But he still has the same character. He's all like, Mikey, Mikey, you take orders from me and not from Mo Green. He's still that'd be interesting to rewrite it.
What
with
if
Fredo having
so what in this case would like McCluskey have killed Michael, and so Fredo
Fredo would have gone to the hospital, and McCluskey would have broken his jaw, and then Fredo would have stepped up from that.
Okay. You think
truly,
that was the
Fredo,
factor that?
I don't know. At some point, if in this alternate universe, at some point, there has to be moments where Fredo becomes stronger.
But you have to get rid of Michael.
No, he doesn't have to step over him. He's already younger. Michael's already younger than Fredo.
But Don Corleone, that's the way Pop wants it.
That's not the way Fredo wanted it. It would be great to do all those alternate scenes like Fredo's like, Mikey, I didn't have to step you over. I'm your older brother.
I take care of you. No. I literally just watched that scene today. We were going to do a countdown to that scene.
We were, and I'm working on it.
Okay, I'm working to figure out what minute it is.
That's
in that
what's
movie.
taking. That's the delay. Yeah,
that's the problem. Anyway, anything else for minute 14? We have a non-nervous Michael Corleone, and
I think that's
seeing
it.
her for the first time.
It's definitely a transition minute. I feel like they've entered. They're starting to talk about Luca Brasi, and
Anyway, I
you want to save it?
No, I was going to talk about Mike and his military career. I was like, well, I'll save it for when they talk about it 2 years from now when we get to that minute. So I might as well say it now. Yeah. So I think if the Don was smart, he would have thought it was a brilliant idea for Mike to join. Yeah. If he had plans for him to be like Senator Corleone, Governor Corleone, like a military career is like the perfect way to say, he's
absolutely,
as he establishes during his hearing, he's a decorated war veteran. He's an upstanding citizen. He fought for this country.
He also has stock in AT&T and IBM.
Yeah, totally.
And Uber.
I didn't take the Fifth Amendment, though it was his right to do so. Anyway, so I'm surprised that Don was as I guess he just didn't want him to get killed.
Yeah.
So
we're going to see soon too what other plans he could have had for Michael.
Other plans for Michael.
Yeah, about his future.
All right, so I guess we'll talk about that another time, and that wraps up minute 14. So what do you rank this one?
This minute?
Yeah.
I think it's a hoot listening to Luca Brasi. Anytime you hear Luca Brasi practicing a speech, it's at least a 3.
Okay. Yeah.
But it is not a lot happens. You see the creepy Don. You see the creepier side of the Don peering out the window. You see Michael's entrance. I mean, that's important, but there's not a lot of.
It's really like a pause for breath after that last scene of the Don and stuff. You need time to process stuff.
I would say it's almost a 2, but Luca Brasi's speech brings it up to a 3 for me.
I'm going to say also give it a 3.
Okay.
I feel like it's it's kind of resetting a new scene now. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's Kay and Michael. Here's Luca Brasi. Kind of like, okay, setting up who Luca Brasi is. Mm-hmm. So,
speaking of setting up the next scene,
although didn't I have a rule that anytime like the Godfather speaks, it should be like a 4-star at least?
Oh, that's right.
Because he's so seldom in it that
all he says is this necessary? Yeah, Academy Award. It'd be great to add like laugh track. What do you call sound stage laugh track and stuff? So is this necessary? That would be the sound.
Yeah, you want those 70s
the
tracks where it's different reactions, not just laughing.
But the reaction after that dialogue, is this necessary? Would definitely be ooh. It's like, oh, now Hagen's in trouble for putting him on the list.
And you're like, you didn't expect to be invited, and then laugh track.
Bring him in. Yeah. And you got the 70s outro theme.
All right, now it's gone up to 4 stars in my book.
4 stars.
4 stars.
Bring it up. See, we made it better.
We totally improved upon the movie. For
thumbs
the
up.
special edition, they should really consider those changes. Just periodic, to let the audience know what they're supposed to be feeling.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's all we have for today.
Yeah. Lucky 14 is in the chute, and we're moving on.
What's
in
up next? What number is coming up next? What minute?
I'll give you a little foreshadowing. Quindici is number 15 in Italian.
So it is going to keep going. We got another one in sequential order. That's crazy.
Can you believe it? We'd have a random. We have software that spits out a random number every time, and we're up to 15.
I mean, even given that the pool of numbers of minutes gets smaller each time, that increases the chances you're going to pick the number that goes sequentially.
That's crazy.
It's still an incredible
That's really good luck.
feat.
We should play some of those. We should go to the bookmaker, like Carlo's bookmaker at the candy store. We'll get to that in a few minutes.
Yeah. All right, everyone. So until next time,
leave the gun, take the cannoli.
On Godfather Minute.